Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today we're going to do a little odds and ends video, and I don't have a whole lot of viewer mail this week, but I do have a couple of interesting things that have come in, actually some collaborations I've been working with some folks on a couple of different things. I want to give you a couple of updates around the shop and just a couple of updates in general. First off, I got a lot of comments and a lot of emails and messages and stuff that I didn't post a video this past week and want to make sure I was okay and everything like that. Guys, I'm fine, everything's cool. It's just been a very busy couple of weeks for me, both personally as well as with my job, and that has resulted in very little time that I could come in here and work in the shop. Unfortunately, I still work full-time. I've got a job outside of all the stuff I do out here that pays the bills and everything else, and it's been a demanding couple of weeks on a couple of different fronts. And then two, we've had some stuff going on with the family, nothing bad or anything, but just, again, taking up a lot of my time. One thing, I had to go move my daughter from Athens, Georgia back to Tifton. She just graduated from the University of Georgia this past spring, and she really hasn't been up there since the whole COVID thing started. They went to online classes. She came home back in March, I guess it was. But she graduated and all of her stuff was still up there, so it took a little time to help her move and some other things. So bottom line, guys, I just haven't had a lot of time to get in the shop. I'm hoping to get out here this weekend and be able to get back to work on a couple of things and get some more videos cranking out for you guys. Another thing that's been kind of eating up some of my time that I usually spend out here in the shop, related to VintageMachinery.org, but more on the website. We're very fortunate that we had a major donation of a collection of literature, machinery literature, including manuals, publications, brochures, catalogs, and so forth like that. Unfortunately, a gentleman passed away, but he had a very large collection of this stuff. He was in the machinery repair business, as well as, I think, dealing in some used machinery. We were reached out from his family, and they were looking for a donation, a place to put all this stuff. We accepted that, and over the last couple of weeks, I've been spending a lot of time dealing with that collection since it has gotten down to me. We got 28 banker boxes full of stuff, and all of that stuff, or maybe not all of it, but a lot of that stuff is going to be digitized, scanned, put up on the VintageMachinery.org website, really adding a lot to our collection. Now, I have hired a part-time person to come in and help me with the scanning. I've had to spend some time doing some training. It was a situation where I needed to be kind of close by, so when they had questions, they could say, hey, what do I need to do here? About got them where they're on their own now, which is good. But the other thing I had to do is I had to start going through and sorting through that collection and pulling out the stuff that needs to be scanned. And as you can imagine, with 28 banker boxes full of stuff, there's been a lot of just sorting stuff out, getting things organized, getting things put together. I'm trying very hard not to scan stuff that we already have on the website. And surprisingly, a lot of stuff in this collection, we've already got a scanned copy up there. But I don't want to spend time and effort rescanning something and then finding, oh, it's already there, I don't need to do this. So trying to do that ahead of time, getting things done. Again, the good news there is I think I've been through about 6 of those boxes out of those 28 boxes. And I've got my guy that's doing the scanning for me. I got a pretty good stack that's going to keep him busy for a while of stuff that's in the queue to be scanned. So hopefully, again, that's going to not be pulling me away from out here in the shop over the next couple of weeks and have a little bit more time to get down here. I'm still going to have to take some time to keep up with him as he's going through there. I've got him for about 6 weeks before he goes back to college, assuming that they do go back to on campus in the fall. But anyway, I'm taking advantage and working him as much as I can between now and then. So collaborations, a couple of things I want to show you here. First off, I got in a couple of, on my steam Stoker engine, I shared with you before where I had done some stuff. We got some new, the top slides for the crosshead were made by Blondie Hacks. She did a great job on those. Actually, this is the cross slide. The other thing that I just had a collaboration with is this piston rod that goes into the cross slide. And let me kind of zoom in here and show you this and tell you a little bit about this. So big thank you to Dave Everhart over at Dragonfly Engineering. And Dave actually has a YouTube channel, and he did some videos. I think he did 3 videos, I can't remember, several I've seen them, where he made these parts up, and a little collaboration project to help us out. And I would encourage you to go check out his channel. I will put links to his videos down in the comments section of this video, where if you want to check this out, you can. But he made these 2 piston rods. This is one of them set up. Again, this is kind of, I've just kind of got it mocked up here. This is really not anything tightened up, but you can kind of see how things go. This is the crosshead. This runs in that channel in the main casting. It just goes back and forth. There's a connecting rod that goes to the crankshaft up on this end, and basically this converts that up and down motion that's in the working off the crankshaft and turns it into a linear motion that goes into the cylinder, so that the piston is running true all the times. And of course, this is the piston that's actually up in the cylinder, and this again is the crosshead. Now, the interesting thing about this is that it had tapers on both ends that tighten up on each end. Now, on this end, we had a socket that's in here. This is actually tapered on one side, so that one of these tapered keys that we made will fit down in there and lock it in place. Now, it fits in here, and I'm not hammering that home right now, because when I do, it's going to pull that in there real tight, and it's going to be hard to get back apart, so I don't want to hammer it in there. But this key, this little tapered key, is going to fit down in there, and when we hammer that home, it will pull that in there tight and lock it in place. On this end, it's very similar. The piston has a taper. It goes up on a tapered hub here, and then we have a castle nut on the end that you tighten this thing up, and that draws this end up on the piston side so that it's nice and tight on there. So Dave made these actually using some CNC equipment that he has. This is definitely something that I could have done in-house using my manual lathe, just doing the tapers either with the taper attachment or with the compound on the lathe, either one. But Dave reached out to me back during the Good of the Land Fest back last fall, said, hey, if there's ever any opportunity for me to do something to help out, he'd love to do a collaboration. And actually, I immediately thought of these parts. I said, because this part really, while it's something that could be done on the manual lathe, no problem, particularly with these tapers, it really is something that was well suited for doing in a CNC environment. So we sent this stuff out to him. This is the original piston rod. As you can see, it was in pretty poor shape, very pitted. I had to cut it to get it out of the engine. If you watch the disassembly video, I'm sure you remember seeing all that. But I sent him these parts as well as the original blueprints, and he went in and did a great job and made these parts for me. He made the castle nuts as well as the piston rods, and I do believe that they are going to work out very well for us. And Dave, again, thank you very much for your help on this and your assistance in this project. And guys, I encourage you to go take a look at his channel. The interesting thing, one of the things that have been really hard for me to do, I could have done it, but it had been really difficult, was on this hole right here. Again, one side is actually tapered to match the taper on the key. So if you look, the oval here is one side, size on one side, smaller on the other side. And he did this on a CNC milling machine, just kind of slowly going down, and as he went down, he kind of made that oval smaller and smaller to get the right taper in there, and it worked extremely well. That would have been difficult for me to have done on a manual machine. I had actually been thinking about it, and I had come up with a way I was going to do it, but the way that Dave went around about doing it, I think, is a lot better than the method I was going to do. And again, you know, there's definitely I'm a manual guy, but there's definitely a place for CNC. In fact, in pretty much the modern world, CNC rules, and it makes a lot of sense. Maybe not so much for one-off parts like what I do a lot of times, but particularly when you get in these complex things, it really has a lot of advantages. Dave, thanks very much for your help on the project. Next here, we got another little collaboration, I guess you could say. I reached out to my buddy Steve Barton over at Solid Rock Machine Shop to help me out with this project. And you guys probably remember this instrument. This is a column square, and I used it when I was on my metal planer restoration recently. This was actually a viewer gift that I received from a good friend of mine, as well as a contributor, someone who's helped me out on some stuff in the past, something that he sent along to me. It's a Japanese-made instrument, extremely accurate. What is it? One division on the level in here equals 0.02 millimeters per meter, which comes out to about a quarter of a 10,000th per foot. So extremely accurate bubble. And this is used for squaring something up. So the way you work this is you go over and you put it on whatever's horizontal. You can actually adjust the level so that it reads level. Obviously you want your machine or whatever to be pretty level, but you fine tune it, get it adjusted perfectly level, and then you can go put this up against a column or whatever coming off that machine, and you can check it on the sides to see how square it is, again by reading the bubble on the very, very accurate level. It is a precision tool. Unfortunately, when I got it, even though this looks like it's practically brand new, it was out a little bit, out of squareness. The sides were out of square, the top was out of parallel. Not by a lot, but in fact, for most things it would have been fine the way it was, but the error in the angles was much greater than the error in the resolution on the bubble. And I really wanted to get this thing a little bit more accurate. I'm not sure why it was out as much as it was. I don't know whether it came from the factory that way. This is a very high quality tool. I imagine when it left the factory, it was in very good shape. I imagine that what happened is at some point in time, this instrument may have gotten, dropped or bumped, or while it was in transit or something, something happened and it, it got out just a little bit. So I asked Steve if he would regrind this. Steve is a very talented tool and die maker, does some really precision work on the surface grinder. He said, yeah, send it on out to me. So he went through a process and he ground everything square and parallel, even went in here on these angles in here. This is where you can put up a piece of round material. He reground all that, and he inspected it, and it is much, much better than when I sent it to him. I can't remember. I want to say he has this thing down to a couple of 10,000ths of an inch, maybe just a little over 1 or 2 tenths per over this distance, where as before it was out much more than that. So he came to the rescue, really kind of turned us back into a very precision instrument. And again, Steve has got a YouTube channel. He did a couple of videos going through the process of doing this. If you're interested in surface grinding, if you have a surface grinder and you want to learn more about it and you want to become a better grinder, I would strongly encourage you to go check out Steve's YouTube channel. Again, Solid Rock Machine Shop. I'll put a link to the video specifically for this square project down in the description. And Steve, again, thank you so much for agreeing to take on this project and helping me out on it. It was greatly appreciated, and he did, as usual, an exceptional job. Wanted to do a little quick follow-up on my welding cart build. I did a video a while back where I had purchased a kit from ZT Fabrication, and I did a little build of this welding cart. And when I got through with it, I told you I was going to send it out to have it powder coated, and then once I got it, I'd show you the finished results. So I'm following through on that. Wanted to show you how this turned out. I'm extremely happy with this welding cart, and I think it's going to be very helpful for me here in the shop. One comment I will make, and I had some people made some comments about how they were not happy with me because they felt like I was doing an infomercial, or that that I was touting someone else's products. Guys, I bought this kit with my own money. This was not something that they sent over to me to do or anything like that. I'm sharing with you guys something that I paid for with my own money and brought it into the shop, and I did so because I think they make a quality product. I've got other stuff that's been made by the guys over at ZT Fab that's in the shop that I've been extremely happy with in the past. I've seen these welding carts before. I've been wanting one of these for quite some time, and I finally just went ahead and bought one and got this done. But as you can see, I've got the two Lincoln here. I have a TIG 200 square wave on the bottom, my Power MIG 210 MP on the top, which pretty much takes care of all of my welding needs. I'm not a welder fabricator, I'm a machinist, but I do have a need to weld stuff from time to time. And I've said many times, I am no expert when it comes to welding, but I find these particular welding units extremely user-friendly, extremely easy to use, and they have served me very well. And again, no sponsor from Lincoln. I bought these welders with my own money as well. They did not give me anything other than a discount when I bought them, but it was the same discount that they were running as part of a special at the time that anybody could have taken advantage of. And my friend Jim Bollinger over at Do Right Fabrication called and alerted me, said, hey, they got a deal going on. If you want these welders, now's a good time to get them. And I took advantage of that a couple of years ago. And again, I've been extremely happy with them. A little bit about the cart. Of course, we got both of the welders on here. We got places to hang all the cords and stuff. We got a place for the foot pedal for the TIG. And then the bottles are mounted back here on the back side of it. And again, I'm extremely happy. This sure beats the little rolling cart that I had them on, a little plastic Rubbermaid rolling cart that really wasn't working too well. And I really like the fact that my bottles are on the cart. Before I had the bottles mounted over on the wall, and I was kind of tethered to them as far as the length, how far I could roll this thing out. Now I can roll it around pretty much anywhere in the shop. Now these welders will run on 220 volts, and that's what I use them on most of the time. However, I do have cords that you plug into them. You can plug them in on 110. Now you are limited in how thick you can weld stuff on 110, but that is a nice feature of these, is that, you know, if I've got something now in the back of the shop that needs welding, and I don't want to bring it to the front of the shop where my welders are, as long as it's not something that's really heavy duty welding, I can take it back there and plug it into a 110 outlet and use it. Right now, my 220 is pretty much just right over here in my welding area, but very versatile with that 110 option with these welders. But anyway, I promised I'd give an update, show you the finished product. There it is. I'm extremely happy. So I'm going to do a little handheld here and show you what's going on out here with my compressor shed. I shared with you guys a while back, I poured some concrete and building a little room on the back of the shop here to put my air compressors in, where they're outside the shop yet still enclosed and protected. And I've been slowly working on this over the last couple of weeks, coming out. Actually been getting up early in the morning and coming out here before work, before it gets too hot, and working on this a little bit at a time. I've pretty much done all of this work so far totally by myself. The framing and everything else, the only thing I've really had any help with is that long wall there. I built it over here on the little slab here and by the back door, and I had to get a friend to come over and help me pick it up and put it in there. The shorter walls I built there and just picked them up and nailed them in, leveled them up. But I did get somebody to help me put that in, but the rest of it's been done myself. I've got my tin up on the top, or most of it. I got one more piece to put up there. Hopefully get that done this weekend, and I can start putting the wood sheathing on the outside of it to enclose it. Got a door there. It's a 36-inch wide door that we'll have room to get those compressors in. The big window there is actually going to be a louvered vent that goes there. I've got a heat exchanger, kind of like a big radiator that has a fan that blows across it to help cool the air down. And that's just going to be where the air can escape to come out of the shed. But we've got plenty of room in there for our compressors, tanks, all that kind of stuff, and well as hopefully have some storage room in there that I can maybe store a few things. But I did want to kind of give you an update on that because this is something that has been eating up some of my time, and I really haven't been shooting video on this. This has been kind of a by myself job, and it's just been a handful and trying to get out here and do it, and I just decided I wasn't even going to try to run the camera because that about doubles the amount of time it takes to do anything, and I just needed to get this done. Well, there you go, guys, a little quick update of what all is going on around here, and hopefully this weekend, we've got our 4th of July weekend here in the U.S., celebrating Independence Day. It's a long weekend, hoping to spend a good bit of that time out here in the shop and get back on some projects. I've got a project I'm working on for a viewer back here that I need to finish up. We'll be doing a video on that, as well as getting back onto the planer restoration. I've got plenty to do there, including making some gears and fixing up that clapper box that we had all kinds of issues with when we took it apart. So hopefully this weekend, if nothing gets in my way, we're going to get out here and get to work and hopefully get you guys some more machine shop content coming soon. And with that, that will be a wrap on this episode. So as always, thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And those comments and thumbs ups are appreciated as always. Thanks guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.